Hey guys, it's Gordon. I was just looking at a couple articles, not just one, a few articles commenting on Billy Eichner's tweets about his new movie Bros. It opened to about a $4.8 million box office this past weekend, and he put out a tweet uh, about why he believes it did not perform better. He said, I can't. I mean, I'm having difficulty even like taking this seriously. But he claimed the reason why the movie did not perform as well as they expected it to is because straight people did not show up. That's right. Straight people did not show up to see this movie. It had a $4.8 million box office. It is a romantic comedy. And the reason it didn't perform better is because straight people didn't see the movie. Well, I looked up some more numbers. I'm not going to go deep into number stuff or anything, but it's a romantic comedy. They never do very well at the box office. They're always in the like $5 to $10 million range, sometimes up to $20 million. It's rare that a romantic comedy really does well, and comedies in general just don't do terribly well at the box office. That's why their budgets aren't as big, because the studio doesn't expect to make it back. If it's over $10 million, if it's over $20 million, so romantic comedies typically the budgets are $10 million movies, $5 million budget, but they put so much money into this movie, Bros. Universal spent $20 million on production and another $30 million on marketing and distribution. So their marketing budget exceeded by 50% their production budget. I mean, it's a $50 million budget movie. If you have a $50 million budget movie, it's typically action or sci-fi, and it's large in scope. This is a romantic comedy. The reason it's not performing well is because of the genre that you picked. It's not a large enough scope of a movie. It has nothing to do with the fact that the central romance is between two men. Now, it might have something to do with that, but the thing that it has to do with that, I doubt it's just strictly homophobia. I just don't see that. I mean, for people who are homophobic, they probably also wouldn't want to watch a movie with a female heroine. But the Woman King, which I believe is in its third week at the box office, outperformed Bros. But wait, I thought these people, he pointed to southern states who, the liberals they call them homophobic, they call them racist, they call them misogynistic. Well, if that were true, the Woman King definitely in its third week should not have outperformed Bros, because this is the same people who wouldn't go see Bros, right? So if they're not going to go see Bros, they're not going to see the Woman King, except that they did. They did see the Woman King. The Woman King outperformed Bros. It has nothing to do with the U.S. or the southern states being homophobic or racist or misogynistic. The Woman King is an action movie. Action movies perform better at the box office. It's really that simple. I mean, possibly. I think some people just don't want to go see a gay rom-com. They just don't want to go see that. But to say that is the sole reason why your movie didn't perform better, I think is ridiculous. And the population, the LGBT population in the U.S., I looked some stats up. This is as of 2020. It's like 18.5 million people. 18.5 million. So if a ticket is $10, if all 18.5 million people bought a ticket to go see this LGBT movie, this gay rom-com, the movie would have performed just tremendously. So really, you should be commenting on the LGBT allies, the LGBT people and their allies that didn't show up to watch this movie. Okay? They didn't show up. Straight people didn't show up. LGBT people didn't show up. It's a rom-com. A lot of people didn't show up to this freaking thing. If 10% of the LGBT population of the U.S. went to see this movie, which I think is reasonable, if you put out a movie for target audience, 10% of that audience shows up, that's pretty good. Well, guess what? They didn't, because if they did, the movie would have had almost a $20 million box office weekend, and it didn't. Also, let's not forget, the pandemic drove a lot of people away from the cinemas, and people just watch most of the content on their TVs now. They don't go to the movies. And yet the headlines read that the reason this movie did not perform well is because people are homophobic. Straight people did not want to go see this movie. That's always the narrative. It's tiresome. And you know what? It's a weak excuse to blame someone else for your movie not performing well. You just didn't make a very good movie, and you made it in a genre that never performs that well at the box office. You could have made a romance movie that was larger in scope, that was sci-fi. People love to go see romance movies that are just these huge budget, these large scope romance movies. I mean, think of Titanic. But no, you kept it rom-com. That's why it didn't perform very well. All right, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. Let me know what you guys think. All right, they're always trying to use this narrative that that people in the U.S. are racist, they're homophobic, they're misogynistic, and that's why the projects that they make don't perform well. They don't get viewership. It's just such a weak excuse. Just make better content.